I got 3 earnings reports to talk about.
I can't wait. All right, welcome to Wall Street Beats,
Adam, you don't
everybody.
own it.
What's that? I don't own it anymore. I know. I'm kicking myself. But I had a nice ride. I've been off the roller coaster for for what?
I'm going to
6
shock
weeks?
you with the numbers. I have.
I know. All right, welcome to Wall Street Beats, everybody. I'm Steve Lamar. Today, joined by our small cap growth and value pro Robert Marson. We're waiting on Mr. Bry. He will be in here shortly. But while we wait, let's get started. I bet Robert's going to talk about Silicon Motion, which is flying this morning next to Microsoft and others.
Better than Microsoft, but yeah, that's good.
No doubt, no question.
20-some% is always a good day,
Microsoft's
right?
a little bigger. Yep.
Yes, a lot bigger. Yes.
All right, tell us what you thought of the report.
So, Silicon Motion reported, and there was a big beat and raise, as I expected. I would have bought calls on it yesterday if we hadn't had such a bad day, in semiconductors, or I should have, because we had such a bad day in semiconductors.
Right.
There hasn't been a semiconductor company that's gone up on an earnings report this season. So I said, screw it. It's not going to go up no matter how good. I was wrong. It was great, and it went up. And it's going up a lot. And this is a $250 stock now, give or take. I backed to the envelope a model that has 125% organic revenue growth this year, dropping to 60% next year, dropping to 50% the year after, and 35 in 2029. And with the profit margins, making enough money at 40 PE to support a 10 price to sales ratio, which all the semiconductor stocks get way over.
Do you hear yourself talking right now? You're the value guy. Come on.
Okay. And that's $1,800 a share in 2029.
All right.
Now, 10 times
there's a chance.
10 times sales for a semiconductor company about a month ago was chicken shit bad. Okay?
Good point.
Marvell was trading at 25 times sales, and Avago was trading at 30 times sales. Okay?
Yeah.
A shitty company like Max Linear, which is a heaping, steaming pile of poop, was trading for 17 times sales. Now,
all right. So you're being conservative at 10. Got it.
So even if you said 7.5 times sales, do 0.75 times 1,800. What's the math there, Steve?
Yeah, you're still well over $1,000. Yep.
It's $1,200-$1,300, right?
That's right.
$250 is, if you want to sell a 5-bagger after the company's raised street sales estimates from 18% to 118% in 6 months, be my guest.
It's unbelievable.
But yeah. I don't think that might necessarily. If the boom in AI busts tomorrow, this will be the top. The top will be in.
Do you think does the management have the chops to manage that kind of growth? I mean, that's big.
Yeah. Well, they said that they're research and engineering constrained. They would have a lot more growth if they had more engineers.
Right. So you got to get the engineers. You got to be able to manage the engineers. You got to pay the engineers, keep them happy.
Yes.
Keep them stable. Yep.
Look, all the silicon is made by TSMC at volume. And there's nobody better, right? Yep. And then the manufacturing now of the drives that they're getting into the drive business, specialty SSD business, is manufactured, by the subcontractors in Taiwan that do this for just a living. That's all they do.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They manufacture SSDs and electronic packages, right? So there's no capital expenditures, there's no factories. It's a very asset-light business.
All right, so it sounds like you love the quarter, and if you didn't own the stock, you should buy it. Hold your nose and buy it, up 26% today. Because this thing's going above 1,000 in Robert Marson's book.
And in 3 years, that's my target for 3 years. I say to be conservative, 1,000. Yes.
All right.
But a lot of times these growth stories overshoot to the upside, right? So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Sales were up 127% year on year, and the thing that got me excited was the growth for next year could have been as high as this year, when this year was 70 or 80%. But I don't think they can grow 100% next year. That would be very surprising. But I still think they grow 60 or 70% next year, and then they grow 50% the following year and 35. And that's just because the way the product cycles launch. These their design wins take 2 years to ramp from when they sign a contract before it's volume production for their high end products, for their enterprise, their data products. It's 2 years. For their laptop products, it's 6 months. And for their phone products, it's 12 months is the cycle. 12 months for each, perhaps, but it's over 2 years for the cycle. They said they have way more customers for their Mon Titan, which is their data center product, for Mon Titan 2 than they had for Mon Titan 1. And Mon Titan 1 hasn't generated any revenue yet. And this will be out in 28. And that's a $125 part. Mon Titan 1's a $60 part. So the ASP is going to double. I mean, this business is going to kaboom. Okay?
Like a rocket.
And I was talking to Ben.
Where does this...
He dismisses a 5-bagger and 100% revenue growth as though it happens every day. It was, that's chicken shit. Move on, he said to me.
So where does this blow up, Robert? Does this thing get sucked in with the AI? This thing obviously gets sucked in with the AI trade. It saw some weakness with that. Is this AI trade selling? Is this AI trade selling over? It looks like, yesterday, it looks like based on today, yesterday never happened. So what are your thoughts there?
Well, as I said, a lot of the incremental growth is related to data centers, right? But they'd be growing, 30 or 40 or 50% without the data center business. That's the important thing, okay? And the data center business is there's no pricing. It's fit. They did 50% gross margin last quarter. They said their long-term 2-3 year target for gross margins is still 50%. They got no price anywhere. Their business model is the same today as it was 10 years ago. There's no vig in this for data center premiums or shortages or any of that shit. It's all new socket wins, new TAMs. Okay, they have 2 businesses that'll be over $1 billion each next year or in 3 years that delivered 0% revenue 3 quarters ago. And they were only an $880 million company last year. So you have to understand that. Think this is not Micron. This is not Western Digital. Western Digital, I listened to the Seagate call. They're raising prices 20% a quarter sequentially on their customers. They're bending them over without KY jelly, guys. and Silicon Motion is not doing anything like that. And because of that, the customers, their NAND partners that give them the NAND, is saying, take these low-end SSDs off our hand, please. Take the controllers. We used to design our own. Deal with this.
Yep.
We used to design the controllers and then make low-end SSDs. They're saying, take both of them from us. So that's how you go to a business that had nothing. It's going to be $1 billion. They said next year it could be a third of sales. It didn't exist 2 quarters ago, and they're doing $3 billion next year. And a third of $3 billion, the way I calculate it, is $1 billion. A business that didn't exist doing $1 billion a year for a less than $1 billion company. That's crazy. And that's what you own this. And that's all. I think a lot of that is independent of the data center, boom hype that's in the numbers. Because I really don't know how much incremental data center capacity is being built in 27 versus 26 and versus where 28 will be, right? If 28 is just flat with 27, okay, they have that big growth. If 28 collapses because this business implodes, then they won't make those numbers for sure. There is, they might grow, instead of growing 60%, they might grow 20 or 30% with all the other stuff they have going. They're being given all the low-end controllers for every PC in the world and every handset in the world and every IoT device in the world, because no one wants to sell 50-cent parts and $2 parts. But they sell 1 billion of them a year, so they're fine doing that stuff, or $500 million a year. Yeah. So
All right, before we go on, you got two others I heard you want to talk about. Before we do that, Ben, you've been following Silicon Motion at all? I know you've been following the AI trade closely. And
Benno,
Microsoft's numbers,
I actually
yesterday were a little
I don't
suspect
follow
on that
Silicon
front.
Motion that closely because I basically outsourced that to my analyst Robert, and we were on a show like this, I don't know, 2 years ago when he pitched it, and I was like, that sounds pretty good. And I looked at it a little bit, I was like, I'm going to get involved. And I basically just ride it, and I just told him, tell me when you're selling. That's it. That's my that's
the extent of your involvement. Okay.
We don't need redundancies here on the team. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Ben has given me many good trades over that same year. So unfortunately, I can't figure out his macro trades. I'm not smart enough.
Well, speaking of that, the Wonder Kid, if you guys have ever seen Ted Lasso, that's a reference to Ted Lasso and the Wonder Kid.
Right.
The Wonder Kid, Leopold, Ashen, Burner, whatever his name is. Looks like
he light $25 billion on fire?
He was doing full Icarus. He no longer has his own fund.
Wow.
You know, that was been the whisper. That's why I sent that meme to our stock, our group chat yesterday of let's find out who you are, Scooby-Doo style. And they had to pull the mask on him. And it was just, he's Kathy Wood, #2, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
And to be fair, Peter Thiel did that in 2007, 2008 too. He had a monster year and then did like a minus 70%. There's always one of these guys, right? But
yep.
I guess what my saying about that is, you see.
So his selling pressure is done. Is that what we're saying?
For the near term, and I hope so, because I kind of want to rally. I mean, you know, this deleveraging happened so fast that, you know, I don't have enough weight on for this. Like Robert, give Robert some credit. In mid-May, Robert and I were talking, and I was walking to my office here in West Hollywood, and we're talking about this AI, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to get the numbers. And it went straight down that rabbit hole hard. And, man, did that happen fast. I mean, the Neo Clouds.
For 2 months, we didn't talk about anything other than this.
Nothing else. Robert
probably
loved it. I wasn't talking about interest rates or currencies. He's like, well, at least we're talking about businesses here.
Finally got Ben talking about shit you're interested in.
And he's done more and better work than anybody.
Did you guys pay attention to Microsoft at all last night? I see it's up 12% today.
You know, we can't, but because I got 6 minutes. But
Robert's got a hard stop here.
Let Robert finish what he said, and then Steve, me and you go.
The other two reports would be let's do that's the good, the bad. Well, the bad, it's not bad. It's neutral. Is enterprise products. That's one of my MLPs. It had a blowout number. Unfortunately, it said it was all short term and non-sustainable due to the war effort, and then the requirement of the marketplace for them to push out a lot of extra.
Is it just me, or is Robert frozen?
All right, I'm back now.
You're back.
All right, they did a lot of stuff that enterprise products. They benefited from a bunch of one-time things. So the number was great, but they're not being paid for it, and that's the way it should be. Finally, but it's at the high end of the range, and it's on the expensive side now. And I'm a holder of it, but not a buyer. And finally, Crocs. I don't get Crocs management. They went out. They had a conference in New York. They beat their freaking chest. They got everybody fired up. 4 or 5 analysts upgraded the price, upgraded the numbers, and waited for this big surprise that they were glowing about at this conference. And then they went from delivering 0% growth to 2% shitty growth. And I was expecting 5 or 6 or 7. Because when a guy beats his chest in front at a call at the end of the quarter, and he's on cloud. According to the analyst, one guy said like management looked like they were on cloud 9. Well, I was expecting a real freak, and the stock had run 40%. So I'm thinking this is going to be a great quarter. Now, rate was 5% versus 0, but they delivered 2, and they only took the year from -1 to 1 to 1 to 2. So they raised their 2%. They raised their sales growth. after after owning Silicon Motion, that's less than chicken shit in my book. So the street is poo pooing the disconnect between the management vibe that got 5 analyst upgrades in front of the number, and they delivered that mediocrity, that mediocre number at best. Now they bought 10% of their stock back, so the revenue per share is 12% at 2. So it's not horrible. It's a lot better than most companies. And they announced a big addition to the buyback. And, the business is improved.
Last I looked, that stock was trading up, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's down a lot today. It's down a lot. No, Crocs is down a lot today. It was when I saw it. Pre-market, it was down 20 points.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I missed that then.
Yeah, it had a big run, and that's what the problem.
Down 13%.
Yeah, that's ugly. That's ugly, guys. So I don't have all winners today. The Crocs position is very small, and I have to figure out if I want to buy it, because I would hope that they could do better than 2% growth in the next 6 quarters. So that I've got to head out, guys. So that's my update. Good luck.
So did they are they sandbagging for next quarter, Robert?
Again, I don't know how you could contend anything with these guys if they signaled that they were hitting it out of the park and they delivered a 1% revenue surprise.
Yeah. All right.
That's
so
bullshit.
You don't trust
I'm calling it. I'm calling.
All right. He's calling bullshit as he signs off on Crocs. Got it. All right, Mr. Bry. How are you this morning?
Good.
So that Microsoft call was, I don't know, sounded great.
Yeah, no,
the thing I sent you was kind of like, I had my head scratching my head a little bit on this, the round tripping we see in OpenAI, but okay.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
I think that it's, that's why I made that meme. I think that kid got taken out, and we're getting some reprieve. Like that was probably a $25 billion fund. And I know we all hear trillions, but that's a lot. Like to just be hitting the bid every day and getting out of there. Sounds like he was absorbed by one fund. Now he works at a pod shop. He had his nice little moment in the sun. Went a little too close to the sun. But look,
a lot too cless.
Yeah. Well, Icarus. There is always an Icarus. Kathy Wood had her Icarus moment, and is what it is.
What did he? And, did he have a 1-year run? How long did he last? Do you know?
He wrote that paper in 24. I think he left OpenAI in 23. So 2-year run, and it was an all-timer run. Like
for sure.
He went from 100. He raised $100 million bucks. And he got it to 25 billion. That's pretty. I mean, you used to run a hedge fund. 25 billion is 25 billion, right?
I didn't get it to 25 billion, no doubt.
No, and look, the yen is clocking, guys, today. You have the BOJ coming up.
Big time.
The Ministry of Finance probably is in there getting their bang for their buck in front of that. I would imagine that they're going to be hawkish, but I think I said that in our chat, part of Warsh not raising rates was probably that the BOJ, the satellite office, didn't want to try and play catch up with them. Hey, you're going to be hawkish, so we gotta raise and be hawkish just to stay in line with them. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want to run that hamster wheel. Sure. So feels a little coordinated, this move. If you were to ask me, that's just speculation. I don't have any inside information on that or anything, but good one. Yen's down 6 big figures. That is a proper move.
That is a proper move for a current big currency like that, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you have any PCE? Did PCE give you any vibe one way or the other? Nah,
I don't think so. I mean,
okay.
I think that like all that stuff, is kind of driven by oil in the near term and the CapEx thing. Yeah. When the CapEx thing rolls, I think inflation will roll. I mean, I saw some stat that said 86% of incremental GDP growth in America is from the CapEx trade. I mean, the AI CapEx. So, it's kind of all one trade here in the
Yeah,
United States.
as Yuga and Charlie have been saying, it's all one trade.
Yeah,
What
and
about your thoughts on yesterday's meeting?
he just is a politician. Like, let's just
He's good, right?
yeah. I mean,
He's
like, he
good.
came out first meeting talking tough, and then second meeting like, talking out of
Yeah,
both sides of the mouth, and
yeah.
yeah,
But
I get the sense.
the long end did not like that. He's
No, actually,
letting the long end go.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit. I think my takeaway was I listened to him and I thought he was bullshitting, and I left at some point in the press conference I was like, I'm going to the gym, and
Yeah,
he basically told the bond market that too. We had a really big steepener yesterday, bear steepener, and then today we have a bull steepener. So I kind of think that the steepener is the dominant trade now. Like, if you're going to get paid because, hey, we're not going to be serious, you can get a bear steepener. If things roll over from the AI CapEx, or, basically just the fact of the matter is that things are at levels or you can get a bull steepener, which means the short end is going to go down faster than the long end, like today. I just think that I took a punt yesterday on the hike because it's been so long since we've had a live meeting, and now I lost because I figured I'd take the 3-1 bet. And if he was going to raise, yesterday was the day to do it.
sure.
I think that's what happened. I think the bond market was like, hey, you're not raising rates. Like, I think that was the tell yesterday. Like, Fed's not raising rates. Stocks, since they figured that out, have rallied quite strongly, right? I mean, CoreWeave's up 20%, for example.
Insane.
And so I think
what happened yesterday then after, the last few hours? You think it was just this, people got jittery, people got scared, bond market's acting up, and people are just getting out, and then today is like nothing ever happened? What happened overnight that got people to, was it just Microsoft? I mean, shit, we got bombs flying again in Iran.
I think it was the Fed, then I think it was the Microsoft, and I think it was this Leopold guy. Like, I think those are the three things that happened. I think him getting taken out, you ran a fund, the cleanup trade, kind of a cleanup trade situation.
Yep.
I think also,
Yep.
like, things have gone down pretty sharp, pretty fast. Like, if you go back and look
definitely
at the
in semis.
NASDAQ, go back and look at the NASDAQ over the .com. I mean, there was some face-ripping bear rallies. Talking about 20%, 30% type of bear rallies. So you got to remember, nothing happens in a straight line, and you just had a really good rollover, and you cleaned out, some leverage out of semis. You cleaned out some leverage out of memory. You cleared out some leverage out of Korea. You cleared out this guy. So, I think positioning's a little cleaner than it was in early June. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Microsoft kind of gave some prudence, and they had cloud was good. So I don't know. Maybe guys just cover the shorts, and they're just one of those local bottoms.
Go back to vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I wanted a rally. Like, I'm not big enough on the short side right now for that. So I'd love to see a rally for the next couple of weeks, or even to early September, and then get back in the game around then. Because, like, right now, I mean, it was getting real one-sided, Steve. Like, there was not much bid, right?
No bid.
And so,
I mean, look what they did to Micron. They took Micron from what, 1,200 to shit. Last night, I think it traded below 700.
Yeah, I mean, SanDisk was down 55%. You know what I mean? So, like, what? It's tough to be like, hey, we need to get 80% down in less than, and then in the summer, man. Like, it's not like exactly known for, like, bear markets the summer. Like, we get some of these. We got. So, it could also be, Steve, when we started Wall Street Beats in 24, we had a similar situation where implied correlation was super tight, and then we got a really ugly July 24 that bottomed with the Nikkei down 10% in a night, and we opened up. S&P was down 5% in the morning, and then that was the local low, and then we rallied for a bit after that. So we could have something like that. What I'm thinking, Steve, is that we want to start thinking about gold again. It's like no one's talking about gold, and I'm thinking like if this guy's not going to be serious, and there's going to be a point where things roll, well, I mean, it's going to be at least a fair bet to think that the government's going to do something, probably to cut rates, maybe take the deficit too high. It's already too high, but like it goes too high. Bad for the long end of the curve. Steepener works, and I think gold works in that scenario. So just something to think about, because gold was something that we talked about top of mind all the time up to that ripper in what was it, 2000 or January 20th this year, when it was at 5,600 and silver was 120. Might be time to like start nibbling there, to be honest.
So you think Warsh came in hot in his first meeting. The second meeting here, he's kind of changed his tone a little bit, and he's going to be a little more Powell-esque, milk toast?
I think that like he just showed that he's not going to be like
as hawkish as everybody was expecting
going to be. Yeah, like we might have meetings be live, but he only will be live if he's gonna give some inclination he'll do something. So at some point, you can't keep your reputation that meetings are live if you don't do things. So I think yesterday the bond market was very clear that hey, for now this guy's just another politician. We'll see what happens. It's his first meeting, or I guess his second meeting. His first meeting was kind of an introduction meeting. This is his first kind of real meeting. But yeah, I mean, again, I just think that the market was pretty hawkish, and I'm a big bull on rates going lower, and I took a bet that they might hike, right? So just to give context,
that was a good bet.
But
I thought there was a chance too.
It's okay. But yeah, I think when I look around, look at the board right now, we just have a situation where it might feel more like it's a beginning of a rally, but it's probably just things were kind of stretched.
Oversold.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Oversold.
Yeah. That's what I think.
All right. Anything else you want to cover before we go? I gotta run.
Yeah, I gotta roll also. Let's call it.
Okay. All right, let's call it. Thanks everybody for following us.
All right, brother.
Wall Street Beats today. We'll be back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys. Thanks, Ben. Bye.